We have some issues in the engine compartment. We gotta get this figured out. I just got back from the city last night. It was 4 hours round trip on the boat. Ran great. As soon as I got back, decided to take a peek in the engine compartment just to have a look. And found oil all over the motor. One of the motors. Actually, let's see what it looks like down here. This motor, great. No issues. This one though, this was all covered in oil. That's still all, like almost everything's all still wet from oil. It was shooting it all over the wall. It was spraying up onto here. I fired it back up just to come down here and look around. And this is the power steering pump. This is also a power steering pump. This one is the one that actually controls the hydraulic steering actuator, which is right there. This one does not contribute to that whatsoever. The systems are completely separated. In the back, where it normally would go hook up to the power steering actuator on this motor, it's just looped through just to make a full circle. So I don't really understand, but this, it seems like this does nothing for power steering anything. Like the lines literally just go all the way around, they loop back through and they come back down. I don't see them going anywhere else. Somebody please correct me if I'm wrong, but I know this one 100% does all the power steering. This one has nothing to do with the power steering, even though it has a power steering pump. Unless those lines are somehow going somewhere else, I think it's kind of just a useless system on this motor. I'm not sure. Either way, this one, when I got back last night, I opened up, when you could see the oil everywhere, I opened up that reservoir and I put some more in it, but it was completely empty. So I filled it up again, fired up the motor, and it literally was just spraying onto the wall. It was just all coming right off the pulley. So I think there's a seal that's bad on this shaft here. I need to get the serpentine belt off, and then I'm gonna take that whole power steering assembly out. Hope that it's a quick fix, but it never is with a boat. It just never is. So let's get into it. Is that held in there? All these hoses over here are keeping everything wedged on there. I'm gonna have to do a little bit more investigations here. There, I think that also is holding it. There's a nut right there I gotta get off. Oh, it's a big boy. Let's get those moved a little bit. This zip tie out of here. And should give me enough room. There it is. Bango. The whole power steering pump is loose. Oh, no. There goes the light. It's a lot more of a pain in the ass than I thought it was going to be. There's that hard line on the bottom there that has to come out. And then this stupid hose is crimped on with this stupid thing instead of a hose clamp. Just like that one there. Well, we got it out to here. I got that hard line off down there. It's just dripping power steering fluid right now. This is the last hose that's attached, but it has that stupid crimp on thing, and I'm not sure how to get that off, or if I just have to cut the hose. I gotta make a phone call here. But look at the pulley. It's, shouldn't do that. So, you gotta get that fixed. I think I just gotta get a new pump. I'm assuming the shaft is messed up. I don't know if I can get it rebuilt or what, but I gotta start looking and figuring out what my next steps are here.
Side or bullnose cutters can also be used to cut the clamps, but they don't always have that rigid frame.
I'm gonna see if I could try to cut this stupid thing off. All I have is these little dikes, but I don't know if they're gonna do it. I have to find something bigger, but here maybe. Oh, and there goes my light down into the grossness of the engine compartment. Oh, where did that go? Here she is, covered in a bunch of nastiness. There it is. Boom. We are free. Oh, we're leaking everywhere. Maybe I should just let that leak down there for a bit. The joys of owning a boat. There she blows. I think at this point, wow, this guy just made a big wake. Very frowned upon. Don't do that. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's a no-wake river, so you're not supposed to make any waves at all. Look at this diagram, because this is the power steering pump right here. Look at this little tiny one above it. It's like a little optional idler pulley, and that looks like you'd be able to bypass the entire power steering pump completely, which I would love to do that because I really don't think it does anything on this engine. I think it's just a bunch of pointless stuff here. Ideally, I'd want one more pulley right here, just an idler pulley, just one that free spins. When the belt comes over, up around the alternator, it would go down around that, and it would make everything work. And that way it would eliminate the entire power steering pump and the oil cooler, all that stuff. It's gonna cost me a ton of money to replace. I just can't find any information online. I can't find anything about it. Must exist because it shows it as an option on the freaking diagram. I'm gonna go over to a Napa down the street and see if they have any information or see if they can help me. All right, fast forward pretty much the entire freaking day. My dad came up with the solution to we just got a regular idler pulley. There was a spot right here on the motor to attach it to, so now we were able to eliminate the power steering pump completely. But we had to get a different size serpentine belt because now it didn't have to go all the way around the pulley on the power steering pump. I think this is number 6 that I'm trying, and we finally got it down. I just gotta swap it one more time and then everything should be good to go. Apparently you just do not need the power steering pump on this side. It was just a closed loop, did nothing, confirmed. This is the one that does all the steering. Now I gotta swap this hose one last time. So, lots of water coming in. Nice hose. Big one. Don't want to sink the boat. There we go. Okay. All right. We have a 1-inch shorter hose, which should work fine. So, oh yeah, 1-inch shorter belt. Come on. Here, and then this will be the last one. This on that. Sure. Okay. There we go. Okay. Yep. Much better. It's on there good. It's on there good. Water pump. Everything looks good. All right, go ahead and start it up. Beautiful. No more power steering pump to deal with. All right, that is a major problem taken care of, and it's one less thing to go wrong, because before I had 2 power steering pumps, 2 oil coolers, 2 sets of lines and hoses, hard lines and everything. So now literally only have that on one motor, don't need it at all on the other motor. So much better. Learned more about motors. I didn't really understand that you can just add an idler pulley that simply. I was looking online everywhere trying to find one specific to this motor, but now learned more. Thanks to my dad. Without him, I wouldn't have finished this. There's no chance today. We went to a million places, found a place nearby. The guy gave me 2 idler pulleys for 20 bucks. Spent like 25 bucks on a new serpentine belt, and then had to get 1 bolt at Home Depot for like 50 cents. So all in all, very cheap fix. It just took a ton of time, literally all day long today. It is now 4:45. And I've been going at this since 9 a.m. I'm not sure what is next on my agenda. I gotta go to the gym. I gotta take a shower. I'm disgusting. Oh, we'll see. All right, it is the next day, and we have some more to do. So the power steering is deleted off of this motor. Still on this motor, everything's good there. But an issue I was having also was I was losing power steering through the oil cooler, which is mounted on the back side of the motor. I just slapped some JB weld on it because I think it was coming out of a little elbow to figure out if that is where it was leaking from or not before I just pull the whole oil cooler out. But now that I don't even need that oil cooler and it was still obviously leaking, even with the JB weld on there, I'm gonna pull the oil cooler off of the backside here, since it's not even going to be used anymore, do a closer inspection at it. And if it's good or if something needs to be repaired, maybe it was just a hose that wasn't clamped down tight enough because it was those stupid crimp-on fittings. Maybe somehow that loosened up over time and started letting some seep out. I'm not sure how high the pressure is on those lines, but I'm going to pull that thing out right now and do some inspections on it. It sits right this piece right here. So this big line comes in with the coolant, goes through here and cools down. There's a smaller line that goes in and runs through and comes back out this hose just to keep the oil cooled. As you can see right here, the lines are literally just looped together. It's just circulating power steering fluid through all these lines for no reason at all. On the other side over there, on the other motor, these lines actually go to the power steering actuator. This side is not needed anymore. And getting back inside there to work on anything is a nightmare. Like, can't even fit my chest in here because I'm so huge. All right, first things first, a hose clamp right here. A hose clamp is off. You can see my JB weld right there, but we gotta get onto this guy. Couple zip ties. Also, there's a bolt underneath this thing that holds the whole thing on. I can't see what you're seeing, but there's a bolt down there somewhere. So I gotta get down there. Also, I have to cut off a couple more hose clamps that are crimp-on clamps that I can't just unscrew with this. Now, how do I reach the camera? Welcome to the depths. This is just a better way of accessing that bolt that's like down in here somewhere. I'm gonna try to get over to that. There we go. There it is. So much Loctite on that thing. Oh no. All right, this stupid thing right here. Got this bad boy out, and I'm pretty stupid because I really thought, I stuck my head back in there and had my dad turn the motor on, and it looked like it was seeping out right here, but I think it was actually, this hose clamp was loose. This whole hose came off with the clamp on it. It was definitely too loose, and I think it was seeping around this and coming down and leaking off. But from my perspective, I could only see from the backside. It was really hard to tell where it was coming from. Figured I'd slap some JB on there. But either way, this part is completely not needed now that I don't have a power steering pump on this side of the motor. I will have to connect these two together. I might just leave it in place for that, complete that circuit of coolant, but I want to hop out of here and take a closer look at that thing. Okay, alrighty. I put that oil cooler back on. Just didn't connect up the power steering lines because they don't go anywhere. That needed to be in there just so that the coolant had a place to go. If I left those giant coolant hoses off, it'd be spraying coolant everywhere in here. So that side's good. This side, I came in and I put two hose clamps on right there. I took off the crimp-on one. Crimp-on one was super loose, so I think that might have been causing a leak as well, but that should all be good. I gotta clean out the bilge because when I took the power steering out, all of it just leaked into the bilge. So I'm gonna have to pull the boat out and drain it all out into a bucket, or I'm going to have to suck it all out with a shop vac. That is done for now, and on to the next thing. Day 3, and it turns out next thing that we need to do, gotta drain all of the power steering out of the bilge there. I got a bucket, my little shop vac here. I want to take this out for a test drive to make sure that everything I did is nice and good. Make sure nothing weird breaks while we're underway, under like the real power of the boat. And I'm afraid that if I get out there and get on plane, whenever the boat tilts, I don't want it to set the bilge off and then pump all of that oil straight into the river. I'm not trying to be that guy, so whoa. I'm gonna pump it out now because there's a lot down there. Let's get this going. Look at that. It's mostly water down there. I had to keep trying a million different sizes till we got that belt right, so I had to remove this giant coolant line. It just, every time I pulled it off, it was just dumping tons of water, and so there's a bunch of water down there, but then on top of all the water is all the oil, since it doesn't like to mix. Pumping out like 90% water, 10% power steering. right, that took a lot longer than I had expected. All the floor chambers shot backed out. Still got a little bit of like schmutz. It'll take like a good spray down and wiping down once I pull this out of the water to get all the rest of the gunk out of there. For now, I think we're ready for a test drive. AC off before I unplug the short valve. Just a one-man team here. Driving a boat, vlogging, flying the drone. It's a lot. Before we get too far, I want to check the power steering fluid on the one that actually does do power steering. Not get my hand ripped off by this belt. I feel like maybe I should shut that engine down and then check it. Now that I know that it's perfectly at that full line, we'll go out, run it around a little bit, come all the way back, check it again and see if we've leaked anything. But we shouldn't, because I think I fixed it all. This motor is probably so much happier now that it doesn't have a power steering pump attached to it. Now let's cruise all the way out to No Wake River. Here we go. Hopefully that paddleboard stays there. Check everything. Ouch! Ouch! How you guys doing down here? Both doing good? I see no leaking, but I kind of got to look behind the motors to see that. I mean, just from hopping down there and looking around real quick, everything looks okay. We'll know more once I get back to the marina, the engine's cooled down, and I'll be able to look behind the motors and make sure that neither of the oil coolers are leaking anything, and do a little bit more in-depth searching when I get back. But I'm pretty confident everything's good. The motors are cooled down. I checked everything. Everything looks great. I'm just winding down right now, cooking a little bit of food, been editing all freaking day. So as soon as this is finished, I'm gonna eat, finish this edit, and pass out. It's been a long day. But if you guys are enjoying the boat content, there's plenty more on my channel, so check out my other videos, and I will catch you guys for the next one. Later.